Hey folks, it's Florida Deere. Thanks for joining me today. Today's video is a follow-up of this video that you're seeing right here. That if you pay attention to the channel, you've probably already seen the video posted a couple months ago, I guess. And it was a comparison between the Baumalight and the Woodland Mills stump grinder. In this video, I went over some of the specifications of each stump grinder, the weight, size, dimensions, really how similar they were. And in this video, we're going to talk about the performance and how they compare to each other. So keep watching. We'll get into it right now. So I apologize about how long it's taken me to get to this, video and actually use these stump grinders together. I ended up having just those two tiny stumps to grind at the end of the last video, which wasn't much. I thought I had more available here to grind at my house, but I had to wait till I had an opportunity to go to my buddy Thomas's house, and he had a number of stumps to grind. And we also shot another video about garden tractors, which I'll put in at the end screen so you can see that one if you want to see, can a John Deere garden tractor run a stump grinder. But in any case, we finally did get a chance to run both stump grinders, sort of not really side by side, but on the same day, in the same yard, with the same type of wood that we're grinding here, which is blackjack oaks. So as you can see, we're starting off with the Baumalight, and we were using the other one on the garden tractor to begin with, but we'll switch over to the Woodland Mills shortly here. So in case you're one of those people that like to keep track of the actual time in the videos that it takes me to do a certain stump with a particular stump grinder, this section of the video was sped up at 5 times the normal speed. Obviously, I didn't want to just make a 35-minute video of just grinding, so I sped up certain portions of the video. So just keep that in mind as you view this part of the video. This is sped up at 5 times the speed, so you can get an idea of how long it took me to grind these stumps. Once the stump is done being grinded, I like to smooth out the surface a little bit, make sure there's no stump left. And I will say this, the bucket works a lot better than a grapple for this, but this is what I had available. Okay, so a couple other differences here. And this is one of the benefits of the Baumalight, and I'll show you some of the benefits of the other one, is that you have 2 pinholes here, so you can I use that as a storage pin. Same thing up top here. And that's something you don't have on the Baumalight. You have the 3 pins right here for the top link, but you only have 1 pin down here that you can connect to. Now, I will say this. The one good thing about the Woodland Mills is this connection point right here is sort of further forward, and it's also just a little bit higher than where the kickstand goes up, probably by an inch or 2, right? On the Baumalight, while you do have some more selections, this arm is basically in line with the rest of the structure. Also, if you're here at the bottom pin, you're about probably 4 or 5 inches. So if you're not careful, you'll end up dragging the kickstand mounts, this part, not the kickstand itself because that'll be up there, but this part is lower that much from your lower arm, that can interfere with your dragging it over part of the stump when you're trying to grind another part of the stump. And that's something you don't have right here because it's almost level, the difference there. So that is one design feature of the Woodland Mills that I think is a little bit better than the Baumalight. Most of the rest of them are, as suggested in the other video, are very, very similar. The way they're constructed with the pivots here, the transport pin, all that kind of stuff. So I just figured I would want to point out those differences between the two. So part of what I'm doing right here is just tightening the slip clutch on the stump grinder because it was sort of maladjusted, and I'm certainly tightening it too much, so I just have to be careful about it. I didn't have time to do the sort of fine tune measurement to make sure that it's, you know, appropriately adjusted correctly, so I just kind of just wanted it to not slip anymore, and it was slipping a whole lot, so then we just decided to do this. The other thing, as you can see here, you can kind of get maybe just a little bit lower with the Woodland Mills because the kickstand parts, like the fixed kickstand parts, aren't quite as low as they are on the Baumalight. So that is one advantage of the Woodland Mills. So I just wanted to point that out. Here you can kind of see the differences. You see the kickstand right here is, you know, a little bit higher than it is on the Baumalight. So just for the record keeper's sake, this is also 5 times regular speed. So I will point out the performance was pretty similar on each stump grinder. Both of them are pretty well used stump grinders. The Woodland Mills might have been a little bit more used, and I did recently replace the teeth on the Baumalight, so the Baumalight might have had a slight edge in some of the cutting power just because of the newer teeth. And the other thing I wanted to point out here too is I do have a tendency to try to really get to under the surface level with my stump grinding. This section was also 5 times the speed, just so you're aware. And I try to make it subsurface because, and I've said this before in my videos, anytime I had stump grinders by before I had the stump grinder, it seems like by the time I cleaned up the mess that it made, you know, there'd always be some stump, you know, still sticking a little bit up, and of course the stump grinder guy's gone, so I try to do the best I can to really get it into the ground. It's probably not as, you know, probably not that necessary, but I really want it to be, you know, completely gone by the time I'm done, which is probably not surprising. Probably most people are like that as well. And I, of course, will clean up the little area here, and he'll come back later and hit it with a rake to smooth out the rest of it. But as you can see, it's pretty much all the way gone. So both companies are based in Canada. However, Woodland Mills outsources their manufacturing to China, where Baumalight manufactures their products in Canada. If that's a concern to anybody, the Baumalight is a little bit more expensive. The fit and finish is probably slightly better. However, both stump grinders perform very similarly, so they're pretty good competitors, I would say. And I would say overall, you know, it depends on where you want to buy your products from. Anyways, this ends this video series on the stump grinder comparison. If you like the video, hit the like button. I'd appreciate that. And if you want to see more videos on the 1 Series John Deere's or garden tractors, you can hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Bye.